Louis Theroux's Dark States.
Louis Theroux
is a brand new 3-part series where Louis Theroux travels back to America. The last couple of docs he did were UK based. Now he's back in America looking at the dark underbelly of Trump's America in 3 brand new documentaries. I'm not sure the exact titles, but this one was called Heroin Town. The next one focuses on sex workers, and then the third one is about the murder rate and homicide rate in Milwaukee. That's the order they'll be shown in. So this one saw Louis Theroux travel to. Now I knew where he travelled to. Right up.
West. Is it West Virginia?
West Virginia. Yeah, it's an old sort of coal and mining town that now has no industry.
Think of like Sheffield or Leeds in this country. Think of an old mining town, sort of similar.
I don't think it's quite as bad as that.
Well, yeah.
I don't think Sheffield is quite as bad as that.
I've been there in a while.
Huntington, West Virginia.
Huntington, West Virginia, thank you. I knew that right up until the words didn't come out of my mouth. So he visits there. It's a place on its knees. It's a place rife with drug addiction, specifically heroin. It's a very common thing in America that people take pain medication, and they're given pain medication by doctors as if they're sweets, and every other advert on the telly in the States is about pain medication. So it's a very common problem that when people have something go wrong with them, the doctor cuts off their pain medication after a time, but they get hooked on it and so turn to more sort of over-the-top and dangerous drugs to get their fix. And this was really eye-opening, actually, as most of Louis' docs really are. Very bleak, focused on and very, very sort of open as well. I'm always amazed what happens when you stick a camera in somebody's face. They just tell you everything that you could ever want to know about them without Louis Theroux having to prod very hard. So it started with a young girl who, her great uncle, who she calls Dad, he raised her. He's like an oil baron, so probably worth quite a lot of money.
Cotillia, the girl's name was?
Cotillia, yeah. And she's living with this quote-unquote boyfriend, who she admits quite early on is beating her and is a drug dealer.
Well, we've just been together for, within the first 2 weeks of being together, he had already bloodied my face and taken control of me with the drugs. He was able to, sometimes he likes to joke and say that he owns me. So pretty much, as you can tell, I'm almost like a pet to him, like an expense. If it wasn't for the drugs, this is not where I would be. I would not be here at all.
Initially, you thought, they're both druggies, and then he says, I'm just doing this for her. I'm getting the drugs for her because I love her and I don't like when she's on the drugs. And then when he's out of the room, she's saying to Louis, if he wasn't here, I wouldn't be on the drugs. He was my dealer, and I feel trapped now. And it was a really good sort of scene. And as you say, you don't know who to believe and things like that. And that was I enjoyed their story. I think I struggled with this when they weren't on screen. I thought theirs was the strongest story.
Well, the other story is there's a whole community of people living in tents, basically, out in the wilderness, just taking drugs as freely as they want to. And Louis also went on board with the police and saw what they're having
and the couple with the who had the baby.
And the couple. The thing about the couple with the young child was interesting, was the way the baby had to come off of the drugs as well and got dope sick and all this sort of thing. I just find him such a interesting screen presence on his own, Louis Theroux, and I find it fascinating how he's able to probe people without pushing them too hard. It's
one thing that I noticed in this episode, and I'm relating back to the one where he dealt with people who were drinking problems in the UK. When he's in America, he's a little bit less in your face with people. I felt like sometimes with the UK ones, he tends to be a little bit preachy, not in a bad way, but he tends to be kind of like, well, why? He tends to be more kind of like, well, why are you doing to that yourself? Whereas in the American ones,
asking why isn't being preachy, though.
No, but I'm trying to think of an example. So in the ones where he was dealing with people with alcohol addiction, He went and visited a guy in his house who dropped off the wagon and ended up trying to mooch alcohol outside the hospital. And he was like, "What are you doing that for? Why are you doing that? Do you think that's a good idea?" But it was more of an accusatory way of doing it, and that probably worked quite well for that specific person.
But
Whereas
I think because he's in the UK,
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
he's
saying.
already got common ground.
But equally, I think as well,
even though he's not an alcoholic.
He still manages to get those questions in. They're more in the voiceover that he does. They're more in the, I got more of the sense that she was robbing her uncle. But he doesn't say that to the character, to her.
That was quite a good Louis Theroux impression, actually.
So, thank you.
I don't know, I enjoy bits of this, as I said, but I didn't find myself as connected as I did to the documentaries that he did last year in Britain. I did actually watch this on the actual TV as well, which is unusual for me.
That is, and it was on late for you as well.
It was on 9 o'clock.
Exactly.
That is late for you.
Yeah, I had to put some more money in the meter, but needs must. No, because I had the telly on because I was watching the 60 Hour Challenge and the X Factor, and I thought, oh, Louis Theroux's on now, and I haven't seen that yet, so I'll turn it on. But
imagine people watching stuff when it's on. Imagine what that must be.
I know.